All right. Well, happy 316 day. Welcome to the Lockdown Podcast. We are here to continue to do as we do, break down Raw and SmackDown. We are T minus 5 weeks from WrestleMania. So, man, there is a lot to get to. I mean, Raw had some crazy things go on, things I want to get to. SmackDown, similar thing. So we continue to have this sneak attack anytime Jey Uso's out, to basically, hype the crowd, do as he does. And Gunther continues to sneak attack him. Um, it's getting kind of predictable. I'm surprised he's not like wearing his head on a swivel at this point, but um, yeah. So I'm definitely looking forward to Jay and Gunther because it seems to be a David versus Goliath situation. We obviously know how dominant Gunther is, and the people that Jey Uso has defeated and in singles competition, nothing compares to Gunther at this point. So like I feel like it's a tall task. I think it will happen just because I've been saying specifically for quite some time about calling him main event Jey Uso. Now he truly is main event Jey Uso, and that title will only basically what's the term? Basically culmination of him being called that, and now he will legitimately be main event Jey Uso, world heavyweight champion. That's what I hope for. Um so Logan Paul comes out and basically chats the crowd off about how everybody's here for him, and Andrew Schultz, the comedian, happens to be ringside, and he was supposed to just chirp at him. That was how the playbook was supposed to run. I watched a video about this earlier, and apparently he wasn't supposed to do anything to him. Luckily, as WWE does, AJ Styles comes out and basically saves Andrew Schultz, and I think it's cool. I think honestly, like those kind of segments don't have to be all the time, but I think honestly, even as like these celebrity comedic people that are celebrities outside of WWE, to be able to have this in ring segment and kind of like get on the second rope and kind of it's a whole different perspective being a wrestler versus just being a celebrity on TVs and movies or comedy shows. I thought it was a cool moment. There's definitely going to be a Logan Paul AJ Styles match sooner rather than later. I don't think this is waiting till WrestleMania or anything like that. I think this squabble will get dealt with again sooner rather than later, probably next week or the following. Um, I kind of miss Logan Paul being a part timer.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
we all know how I feel about Logan Paul, even though I have given him his roses a couple times. But yeah. Uh,
Yeah, you're not the only one that is kind of like enough with the Logan Paul. However, whatever his contract is, whatever his agreement is, let it. We're just gonna have to live with it. Maybe it'll change. Maybe the vibe or the feeling about Logan Paul will change, but I don't see it doing that anytime soon. I am not. I'm not high on him, his personality, and his out of the ring things that he's done previously. However, he's athletic enough, to do this work, and you know, yeah.
yeah.
So that's yeah, Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, Logan Paul just needs to go.
Yeah, and I'm just glad they took what I don't understand is that with all the controversy with Prime, why do they still have anything Prime related in WWE?
Yeah,
Like
they have it like at the ringside by the announce table.
I mean, and I get it. They probably have a contract, but contracts get broken all the time. So I think WWE should fully part ways with any of that, just because Prime is under multiple lawsuits for all kinds of different things, just shady business practices, but I will put a freaking pin in that. But so New Day defeats Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio in a tornado tag, which if you don't know what that is, it's basically like a 2-on-2 with no tag-ins. And we get the emergence of what we thought, and maybe there's still more to it, that it was Chad Gable, but I think it is the emergence of Penta's brother. So that is the running story. We don't know for sure just because he's, he wore the American made mask, which kind of threw things off and thinking it was Chad Gable. But I mean, it could have been Chad Gable. They could have just put in a stunt double and they could have just did whatever and played whatever angle they wanted. But we don't know who Chad Gable talked to at the, and during that bit, I think it was last week, basically paying some luchador to basically go in and go learn how to fight or whatever. But very open-ended story, but it's great mid-car filler. You know, every story doesn't have to be like top tier as long as there's just good stories going on. Just because the whole Chad Gable basically losing and taking L's to luchador wrestlers, like I think it's good mid-card filler. Like it's intriguing enough to, keep us entertained. But so I I don't like how Cody's going between both shows. I I mean, I really haven't said much about it, but I don't like that he's not sticking to his show. Like we have a Raw champion and we have a SmackDown champion. Like let's let those stories play separately. Like I don't need because then you're downplaying Gunther because it's Gunther's show. Gunther's Raw is Gunther's show. So to sit there and have Cody, come on every show and do a 5-10 minute bit about nonsense and what do you want to talk about and and it's like even he's sick of his broken record segments. So so I mean what are your guys take on just Cody kind of just continuing to essentially kind of over Trump Gunther being the champion on Raw and him kind of going to whatever brand he wants and running promos
Well, I think it has everything to do with the Netflix deal. Cody's a draw. Cody's going to put butts in seats. Gunther is not. Even though Gunther is a very talented performer, Cody is just the draw of Cody, and Netflix wants him. They want Roman Reigns. They want anyone that's going to put eyes on Netflix, that's going to get their subscriptions up, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the reason why, in my opinion and my best guess, that
makes sense.
Cody's there. Tim?
Yeah, I totally agree because if Cody's there, the ratings are going to go up. There'll be more. The building's going to be sold out. Shirts will be selling. Any food and food, beverages, and all that crap there is going to be selling because you got a really big time star there. Just like when we all hate The Rock, when he's there, ratings kind of go up.
Right.
This place is sold out.
I mean, and yeah, it's a massive rating pull. I just think we could be, being that we're 5 weeks away from WrestleMania, I feel like we could be juicing up some other stories just because we already know it's Cody versus John Cena. Like we don't need that running on every show. Like if you wanted Cody to be on Raw, then you would have had him on Raw when you did something to, when they got the Netflix launch. But I mean, it's whatever. It's strictly business, and that's kind of the only way to view it, like what's good for business, right? I mean, but so We have a number one contenders match for Lyra Valkyria's IC title, which really up till the last couple weeks has been pretty stale. We did obviously have, a run back of the actual championship match when it was Dakota Kai versus Lyra Valkyria. She won that. She won last week. I forgot against who, but so now we had a number one contenders match. Raquel Rodriguez defeats Bailey in typical Judgment Day fashion, which is getting to be kind of the running joke. Like, let's be real. Like, it's a joke. Raquel Rodriguez does not need anybody to do her dirty work. Like, she's a great competitor by herself. I don't understand how you can't let her be who she is and let her be dominant in the ring without watering her victory down with stupid Liv Morgan and dumb Dominic Mysterio. Like, we just don't need it. Like, we don't need it every freaking week. Like,
I think I find it funny that they are all like this like little clique of like, if they were
misfit
all in
bullies.
high schools, they would be misfit bullies.
Oh, definitely.
You know?
Definitely.
And I like the fact that it triggers you a little bit, Seth.
like, but like, but
So-
that's what I'm saying. Is like, but it's more about the fact that like it just continues to happen, and it's like, and it's
Yeah,
like, where's
I-
Bailey's defense? Where's
know-
where's anybody like helping out Bailey? Like,
yeah, it's
well, since when does Bailey have Bailey has no buddies, and so she's left hung out to dry. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's every week. It's like, if it happened like, twice a month, I'd be like, okay, that's acceptable. But every week, come on, man. Like,
yeah,
it-
and I get that, but the way that it triggers you and how I view it is kind of like, I want to see what Seth has to say about it. Like, I get the recipe because there's a law with that trio. They're gonna eventually, all three of them will be in story, like in a decent story where that trio makes sense going forward. But right now it's kind of like, it's just the numbers game, and we've seen that before with Judgment Day, with Alpha Academy, with Damage Control. We've seen it. The baby face has to like come over these immeasurable odds, the baby face being Bailey, right? So, but the fact that it's Liv, who you really don't like because she's just not your cup of tea. Raquel should be in world championship or heavyweight or women's championship storylines because of her stature, because of her look. And we all agree that Dominic just has this dirty, icky vibe about him, and that he's just a really inferior luchador. So putting them all together is just like, ugh, I don't want to see them on my TV, as opposed to like, oh man, this is going to turn out to be great. Is there going to be like a mixed match with, is Bailey going to get some, a couple of, somebody from Alpha Academy and somebody else or whatever have you to go up against them in like a 3-person tag or whatever have you. That's kind of what I'm thinking could happen, but also too, at the same time, your response to that segment is just like, oh, I can't stand all three of them on my screen right now.
It's like on Family Guy when Peter was on like the news with, what really grinds my gears? Like,
Yeah.
that's pretty much the like the annoyance
Sorry
that I
about
get
that.
out of it.
Yep.
Oh,
No
you're
worries,
good, dude.
Tim.
I got you.
My computer just shut down for some odd reason. That was a little weird.
Technology.
Maybe it doesn't like Liv and Dirty Dom. And
It was
Who
Dirty
knows?
Dom. He unplugged your computer.
Yep.
I
No
guess
chicken
so.
tendies in the fridge. He unplugged.
I guess he got mad because because I took them from him.
So I'll just move past this because it's not even just them. It's just the premise of outside interference and the ref never kicks them out from ringside. That like
You
it
know,
was like the week prior when Dominic put Liv's leg on the rope and the ref clearly seen him do it. And then he didn't
Yeah.
remove him from the thing. Like
the inconsistencies of calling out the shenanigans, I think, is just overall an industry problem.
yeah.
But WWE leads the way, far and wide that. So I get that. Yeah.
So I mean but so like now let's get to this thing, and I know we talked about it beforehand, and I told you I kind of wanted to like really get it on the pipes on live. Is so we have Io Sky whatever beat Rhea, and I think the world is pissed, and I think WWE, from multiple things I've read, it's some kind of angle for basically having some Japanese star have the title. And and that's what I've read on multiple like interviews with WWE backstage people. And I think it's a little bit silly. I really honestly I think more people want to see Rhea than Io. And I feel like there's gonna be some weaseling way into this being a triple threat.
Oh, I believe it will be a triple threat.
But so
And
like
EOI winning it.
so the fact of the matter is the fact so Rhea comes out, and Bianca's talking to Io or whatever, and there's more of a story with Rhea and Bianca than there is with Io Sky, which is why it led her to slap both of them, because much like the Ula Fala, something is more important than the championship. And it's a little bit silly. It really is. Like that segment showed me that championship does not mean much on Io Sky's waist. And that's not saying that she has, that she hasn't had the credibility to be a champion. I take nothing away from her being a champion. It's just that at this juncture, being 5 weeks away from WrestleMania, the fact that they even why was Tiffany Stratton never defending her title? Why did all of a sudden Rhea have to defend her title when realistically the match for both Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber should have been, how are we going to book who's going to win to verse the champion, not who's going to face one or the other. And like it was on Raw. Like it wasn't even on a PLE that she lost the title. Like mind's blown that this happened this close to WrestleMania when you're trying to set in stone those 4 marquee matches, those 4 championship, because realistically, no other champion has done what they did to Rhea. Gunther's fighting goofy matches. Tiffany's fighting goofy matches. Like Cody's not even fighting. And then why all of a sudden Rhea's the one that has to all of a sudden defend her title? Like it makes no sense. Like chime in, friend.
I don't think it hurts Rhea's credibility as a champion to drop that title, even on a Monday night. I think I also don't think that I want to see a 3-way or a triple threat for any championship at WrestleMania. I want it to be one-on-one. If it's a tag team, obviously. I don't think we need to have all 3 of those people in a match to have a really good women's match.
But who's the bigger draw, Io Sky or Rhea Ripley?
Rhea.
If Rhea Ripley is not on WrestleMania and Io Sky is, I'm sorry. Like I said, I don't take anything away from Io being a champion, but like if we're talking business, right? Just like with Cody on other shows, right? If we're talking business, if we're talking box office, if we're talking what's the bigger draw, it is not Io Sky, it is Rhea Bloody Ripley. Like from a business standpoint, right? Talked about how it's good for business, being Cody being on other shows, for being a draw. No one cares. I mean, I like I said, I hate to say it, but I could care less. I don't even care if Bianca wins. I don't care what happens. I now this match has lost my interest. In
You know,
in the words of Tim, I'm gonna go take a shit.
here's the thing. I think what we'll get and this isn't fantasy booking, but this is where it may all just work out, right? So let's say they book a triple threat match. Because there's still the question mark of Bianca and Jade, I think Jade will interfere in that triple threat match and make it a two-way rematch before the match even gets started. So Bianca doesn't even get her shot. And then like the next night it'll be Bianca and Jade. Right? So that's the only way that I think it would be digestible for people at all. Outside of that, we don't need a triple threat match. So that is my position right now. As we're talking, I'm trying to find out any information on any like credence to the online reports of there was a title change because WWE wants to promote its product in Asian markets, which we've seen WWE do that before. Just take Jinder Mahal a few years ago. We've seen them do that, right? So right now, that's what I'm trying to look up and try to see if there's any upcoming tour dates with that, even if it's not for this year, maybe early next year, just like they're doing their European tour before they come back and do WrestleMania.
There was a clip showing Rhea getting dropped on her head, though. But again, I mean that just I mean they're like it seemed like they overplayed the fact that a DDT does it all the time, anyways. So, I don't know if it was.
Well, when was the last time a person in WWE was pinned with a DDT? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, the story made it out to be like it was something serious, like she was grabbing her neck or something. It was
that she had a stinger because
yeah. I mean, it could have been just a a slight miscue, and don't say botched. I'd get beat up if I said that, but like just a miscue, like and again, you're doing this live, even if you're not even on like a live TV broadcast, you're still even the other shows are still done in front of a live crowd. So like,
right.
I think it probably was just a stinger. I think, it might have been just, but, couple inches off is a big deal. So, but let's get to the next craziness. So Seth Rollins and CM Punk in a cage match. Now, I've seen a lot of cage matches in my day, and usually there's like a I want to win this match aspect. There was none of that. Like there was some pins later on. Now, I know this is the trope that Frederick loves, is the fact that the kick out of finishers and all that stuff. But honestly, like in this context, it was very, very, very entertaining. Like, because like there's real disdain between these two. Like, and you see it when they're doing it. Either they're Golden Globe nominated actors, or like there's a little bit of truth to the the anger showed in the ring. But let's talk about how it ended. So they continued to go back and forth, basically saying, "Okay, here the door's open." And so after, finishers upon finishers upon finishers and all this nonsense, Seth Rollins is like leaning against the rope on the corner by the door. And so I love the fan footage of Roman running through the crowd and coming in and pulling Seth Rollins out. And obviously it's okay, then technically he wins. But and then he continues to beat the living daylights out of him. Superman punch, spear, curb stomps him, beats the living crap out of him. But that's only half the story. And the other half is Mr. Paul Heyman is in the ring with CM Punk. Now, Paul kind of explained things, but like he didn't explain things just because the look on Roman's face was just like, huh?
Like what? Like what the hell are you doing?
What do you like? You're my wise man. And obviously, yes, he was CM Punk's wise man first, but that was the past.
He was technically Brock Lesnar's wise man first. Dead CM Punk.
Thank you for the knowledge collective. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Fact checked.
Yeah.
But no, and so there's so much to unpack with all of this. And like this is a matchup like, basically Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns that I feel like it's been festering in the background of like everything that's gone on for the last like, I don't know, 4 years. Like, and there's always that looming like, hey, shouldn't like those two like do something? Cause like there's clearly tension there since the Shield days, and that was 10 years ago, like
something like that.
and so like there's always been this looming tension, and now we kind of see the rubber band snap. And so now I hope we get a Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns match. Like
that'll be a nice match.
So, I mean, dude, and you know what? No DQ that thing, man. I don't even care. Call it a Vegas street fight. I don't care what you call it. Let them duke it out. So, in realistically, neither of them have like anybody to do outside interference. So we know this would be a straight up match. So, so SmackDown. So we continue to have, I don't know, it seems to be the same things play out, but so last week LA Knight defeated Shinsuke in a pretty hilarious match, honestly. Poor referee getting misted. But so somehow we, because again, this is their European tour, so we're going to get kind of a little off normal type of match setups. But so we somehow weasel our way into a LA Knight, Braun Strowman, and Jimmy Uso versus Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, and Tama Tonga. Good match. Like just like, and these are the matches I like. There's a lot going on, but it's like there's no outside interference. It's just a good fashion 3-on-3 tag match. Just brutality from Strowman. Now Solo and Jacob and Tama lose, but obviously it's not the be all end all, especially with a Samoan Werewolf who's seems to be at the forefront of whatever's left of this bloodline. Solo seems to be taking a back seat to Jacob at this point. He seems to lead the group, but at the same token, he's basically wishing all opportunities to Jacob, which I think honestly it's a good angle, just because Solo had his time, and there'll be stuff for Solo down the road. I mean, I don't doubt that his his in-ring career or anything is really even remotely over. So I just think in this current storyline that we're in, we're kind of pushing more Jacob Fatu, and I'm okay with that. I mean, because he's a very decorated wrestler, unbeknownst to the average fan. So like his skill set is something out of 2K25. Like the moves this guy does should not happen with a guy of that caliber, right? It's kind of like Bam Bam Bigelow getting on the top rope and you're like, this big guy does not belong up here, you know? So there's obviously plenty of angles left for again these, because I'm okay now that we've kind of bloodline starting to drift away from bloodline to bloodline stuff, sort of kind of. Obviously Jimmy was involved, but like, but I mean we're not getting like this massive TV amount of time dealing with bloodline OG and bloodline. So like everything's becoming a little bit more independently story based versus having a whole umbrella of the bloodline story, which we've all talked about that. Like, you know, we're ready to move on. So um yeah. So Charlotte Flair has a match with B-Fab, and you know what? I look forward to the fact that B-Fab is still around. Because Hit Row kind of dissipated. She kind of did stuff with Street Profits. She's kind of been kind of getting away from the Street Profit stuff, kind of doing her own thing. And I think honestly, you give her opportunities. I mean, she put on a good match. Obviously, Charlotte Flair won, but like you take nothing away from people that have worked hard in the industry and take advantage of the opportunities they're given, even if they're going to take an L. So, but obviously there was
Everybody has to take a L here and there.
Yeah.
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 So, but
Can't have
obviously,
like Asuka's winning streak.
Yeah. But
there's nothing more important.
Asuka's definitely like, she's S tier caliber wrestler. I mean,
Oh,
she can
100%.
perform. Yeah. So yeah, I like the improvements that I see with B-Fab, and they're only going to get better. She's really pushing herself and give her the right stories, the right types of matches where she can continue to improve. Yeah, it might be a couple of years, but yeah, I think she's doing a really great job, and yeah, surprise, surprise.
It took Chad Gable a minute to get going. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
I think that, you know, her being kind of solo, but like also being able to sponge off of the plethora of talent on the thing. Because obviously, like Charlotte Flair, even though obviously she won, but like she's also in the ring with one of the goats. So like, so B-Fab being in the ring of one of the most polished wrestlers, like that's only gonna make her better.
right.
And you see that a lot in WWE where you have the seasoned veterans. You know, obviously they're gonna beat those, you know, the lower tier wrestler, but they also get the experience in the ring with someone at that caliber that's very polished, you know, and they're gonna help you moving forward. So
Right.
so like I said, there was obviously a lot going on after that match. Tiffany Stratton kind of definitely showing more of her athleticism. I mean, it was insane. So, but so Cody Rhodes comes out for Miz TV, and obviously he just gives him a quick crossroads and does his own segment calling out The Rock. And obviously, like, I think The Rock is supposed to be there next week, or I guess, well, this Friday, I think they're supposed to
I think so.
do a face to face. So that should be interesting because honestly, like, now that we've seen the transformation of John Cena, like, now let's see if the mic skills are different. Like, let's see if the things he says are less cliche and more nuanced. Like, let's see if this character, this heel John Cena, Like, is it gonna go back to like the decorum of like the Doctor of Thugonomics? Are we gonna get kind of the edgy attitude of that? I feel like that's probably honestly what we're gonna get.
You know,
I
I
think
I don't think we're gonna get the Doctor of Thugonomics. I don't think we're gonna get like any type of like rapping John Cena. I think we're gonna get a movie character based John Cena that is hyper aggressive, um, and that cuts very short and quick promos. I don't know if it'll be like the classic heel trope where he says things to get heat, or
mhm.
will it be more of an intelligent, you know, very calculating heel, kind of like what I would consider Gunther is. Gunther is not trying to get cheap heat all the time. He's really just saying like, I'm better than you, and this is why, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
I think that's the type of John Cena that we'll get. But you know, everything, you know, at this particular point, you know, it pro wrestling bingo card. Yeah, surprise, surprise. I mean, just
You know,
you
and
know,
and maybe
I'm
just roll with it.
hoping we get a new theme, new style of his look,
Yeah.
something because I
Would
know
you
he's
would
been
you want you know he's been what, Tim?
I know he before he was in talks and trying to become a heel, he had his outfit all dressed up, ready to go. New music he recorded. I'm hoping he used the song that he was going to use when he was going to go heel, and but maybe a different outfit. I don't know.
no
I'm
Jorts.
What
hoping
would you want
something
to
good.
see?
We're gonna get.
What would you two want to see?
I would prefer to see black jorts in black ring gear.
All
Like
right.
I think we're gonna lose the headbands, the wristbands. I think we're just gonna get a blacked out John Cena, basically.
Blackout
I
John Cena, bald headed John Cena.
Oh, yeah, I think
they
he's currently shooting a movie, so we won't get him bald headed, but we might get a John Cena.
Not like that bald. Not like
Yeah.
this bald.
well,
Like
no,
his,
yeah. But
they did show him recently. Someone caught him and it was just slicked back. And so they're
comb over.
so yeah, so I mean, come over the bald spot. But I mean,
you know what? Just for shits and giggles,
ooh,
I
she's a good-
would want to see John Cena as Peacemaker wrestle, headgear and all.
Peacemaker.
okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love that attitude of Peacemaker.
And then he pulls out a gun and shoots Cody Rhodes.
Oh,
I mean, I want him to go
not-
full Peacemaker.
This
we
is
have to cut that out.
Nope, I am not editing it because you know what? See, because you guys call me out when I do something stupid, but for once it wasn't me.
You know what?
Hey,
But
I
that's
think
what I want to see. I
That's
mean,
true.
And I think you said that last week too. So
yeah,
you know what? Run it, Frederick. You do
You know,
you. I will let you be you for
I
this one moment.
but doesn't it? I think Peacemaker as a character fits John Cena because he's just the years of him portraying just, you know, a very upstanding Boy Scout like character that can weigh on you. And sometimes you've got to break free. How do you break free when you're you know, a method actor? You do something else, or a character actor, you do something else. So I think it would be great. I think it would be fun. It would be completely unexpected. You know, granted, you know, the last time we did see a gun in a WWE ring was, I think, was with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon, you know, in that segment.
I
You know,
don't
the
think
one that says
I don't
bang.
like.
yep.
I mean, okay, but I don't like. Honestly, like we're gonna get obviously more aggression. I think, you know, I don't think we're gonna. There's no guns.
Yeah,
Like
won't be, but
maybe just for intense purposes, maybe we get a Cody belt with, let's say, future 17th championship or something something The Rock gives a little John Cena pizzazz to. Maybe we get something The Rock gives John Cena, and he brings that out or something. But honestly, I look forward to whatever the hell they put up. Like I'll be here for it. Moving on. We will definitely see, next week what we get from John Cena, and I'm sure we'll have a lot to chirp about of what they come up with. So now Shinsuke seems to be on a L streak, but not in a good way. But so Damian and Drew McIntyre have a new quarreled beef, which I like because they're both absolute stars, and they both have just insane athleticism for their size, and I'm here for it. I definitely think we're gonna get a culmination match at WrestleMania, because these two got to throw hands. Like let's let this cook. Let's let one go win, one go loss, one go win, one go loss, and get something at WrestleMania, a nice culmination match. Because I don't even know what they could even do to make this match not cheesy. Like I mean I don't want to infest WrestleMania with stip matches, but WWE will definitely do something creative. So because it's WrestleMania season. So
They haven't
so
announced any more Hall of Fames either.
no, they're stuck with the three they have, and they didn't do a Warrior Award last year. So I don't know what they'll do. I feel like they have to induct Bray Wyatt. Like, let me like they have to. I know like they inducted, his uncle and his dad last year. And I think like obviously they give a shout out to Bray Wyatt. Everybody had the Fireflies out there. But I feel like they need to individually give him his roses. And put him in the Hall of Fame. I mean, but but then they rushed those three, and then now we're sitting at two. So we're just waiting on two more, would be my assumption. I think we'll probably get those probably within the next 3 weeks. We're gonna have our full class. Because they're not gonna bum rush the last person or something. I feel like they want to like give everybody a little bit of time to collect themselves. And maybe obviously they probably already have them. They haven't been released to us. Um, so we get a run back with Randy Orton and Carmelo Hayes. Boy, can Carmelo take an RKO.
Oh yeah.
And this is what I'm talking about when it comes to, wrestlers getting, the veteran rub. Because I've said very much outspoken about I love Carmelo Hayes, but obviously like he's in that pocket phase where like he's writing checks his ass can't cash. But good on him. Speak your mind. Get that experience with a lot of top tier. Because when he first came to the main roster, he did have a match with Randy Orton where he literally licked his hand and slapped him in the back of the head, and he lost that match too. But like, I think, dude, if I can get all the ring IQ from literally the Viper, dude, take those matches, take them and run with them, and get the experience. Like Randy Orton's, he's been doing this. He's honestly, with the exception of Rey Mysterio, he's the longest running tenure wrestler on the roster that hasn't dipped out to go make movies or dipped out to go reality TV shows. Like, because The Miz has bounced out and did TV shows, then he was off TV for whatever else. John Cena obviously just left for 5 years, so that he doesn't even count. Like, so I mean, realistically, with the exception of, the injuries, he's been wrestling. Like, he hasn't stopped. Unless something kept him from doing it, he's been doing it. So Randy's legitimately got 20 plus. I think him and John Cena came by at the same time.
Yeah,
Only
they both made their debut in the same year, 2001,
something like
no,
that.
2002.
Yeah. So I respect the hell out of Randy Orton for truly committing to the business. He has done some WWE movies, but they were like small little bits or whatever. But like, he's committed to the business. He's not selling out to Hollywood, and I respect that. He is a third generation superstar, so even though those are usually, people always say, "Oh, there's big shoes to fill," but I'm like, Randy's more than filled. The Orton obligation, we'll call it. Dude's a 14-time champion. He's
Yeah, no,
he's 14 because Triple H is at Triple H. I remember are both at 14, or I think Triple H might be at 15, or one of them two are at 15. Someone fact check
I'll look
that.
it up.
But yeah, in the RKO out of nowhere is still the best phrase in WWE, because they are like he might have the setup all the time, and he might actually do one, but legit, his RKOs are out of nowhere, and I'm sorry, it's one of the best finishers in WWE. Look at everybody else's finishers. I'm sorry, if I got an RKO, dude, like, sit there and just twist around and just drops me down, like, and a lot of times they're barely catching their hands on the mat. So like, you're getting that full force, that full boom, like, so. But yeah, when did he?
Yeah, he's 14 time.
Yeah, so I would say like the 2000 to current Mount Rushmore, he's definitely on it. So it's just insane, honestly, the amount of things he's accomplished.
He's tied with Triple H. Triple H is 14.
There's no one with 15, is there?
Let me look.
Because I don't think that there's. I think it's just a couple. There's 2 14s, and then I think it's just the 2 16s, and then that's how it lays out. But
no, there's no one in WWE at 15.
Yeah, so literally, he's essentially in the top 4 most accomplished wrestler in WWE. So
definitely.
So I was talking about the Gunther gimmick matches, but so Axiom from NXT comes and wrestles Gunther, and honestly put on a good match. Like, I honestly, like, if you, again, like, I always implore you to watch NXT, but no. So Axiom and Nathan Frazier have been the tag team championships for quite a long time, and like, they continue to like win in insane fashion. But yeah, so Gunther versus Axiom. Obviously Gunther was gonna win this, but like, Axiom put on a clinic though. Like, cause he's under him and Nathan Frazier are basically like the never stop going, basically. Like, they are very fast pace. Lots of ring acrobatic moves. So good match. And honestly, good on Axiom for accepting the hey, by the way, does anybody want to go fight Gunther? Like, that wouldn't be, my hand would not go up. I'd be like, yeah, no, I'm good, dude.
I'm like, I don't want no slap to the chest. I'm good.
I want someone to slap the soul out of my body. Like,
I wonder if it's a rite of passage for some people to be like, yeah, I would do that. Yeah. It wouldn't be a great match. It would be a slap to the chest, and I'm just like not getting up. But at the same time, it's like, oh man, I was in a WWE ring and I got popped by Gunther, and Now you
Right.
like, but yeah, just to
Well,
sign up to be chest slapped by Gunther, yeah, it's probably not high on anybody's to-do list.
no, that's that's a free spot on a bingo card right there. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
you can have this free spot, but by the way, you got slapped. But no, I mean, man, NXT is on fire though. I mean, they because they've been doing this TNA collab. I mean, we've seen a crazy amount of matches between TNA stars and NXT stars. You had the Hardy Boys last week, versus Axiom and Nathan Frazier. Obviously, they lost, but you know, it's very entertaining. I mean, you had Obafemi versus Moose from TNA, which they are literally like duplicate characters.
Oh, definitely.
And like,
They're both
and
powerhouses.
oh yeah, no bread, no water, just meat. Like, and I mean, but it was though, dude. Like that match was insane. Like, I mean, it was power move for power move for power move. Like, telling you, man, watch NXT. I'm gonna keep on chirping about it because it's good shit. Yes, and yes, but they have been doing road shows where they're actually moving out of Florida to go do these PLEs because they had one because we were in Raw. Was it Raw or SmackDown? Was in Madison Square. I think that was Raw, and they were at another New York venue as well. And so, like, I love that they're starting to branch out. And like we've talked about, for and probably 5-6 months ago about how like they need to start small and work their way out and
Mhm.
see how the fan base works. And the fan base is insane. Like they're doing Raw, SmackDown level numbers, so clearly the fan base is there. So I look forward to the continued slowly but surely giving them these bigger venues, seeing how they perform. Because being in a crowd of a couple hundred versus like 10 to 15,000 is obviously different, and there's the jitters of all that. I mean, so I look forward to it. I think honestly, I think in the next year, I think they might really just get a regular moving schedule. Um, Maybe more strategic as far as like where they travel to. Maybe they have a direction around the country just so the financial burden isn't there to go from one end of the country to the next, stuff like that. So even if they work their way just on the east side of the country, I mean, whatever they get, it'll be just deserved. I think they've definitely become another brand. It's not so developmental anymore.
No.
They have classes for like all this stuff behind the scenes. So it's still another 2-hour show, right? Like take nothing away. It's still a 2-hour production of a show. So, but I digress. So Paul Heyman comes out and chirp, chirp, chirp as he does and talks, for a little bit about the whole CM Punk thing and the whole Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins thing, and basically about how he's going to be there next week when pretty much if you just Google Roman Reigns appearances, we've already known that he was going to be, at one of the other, on the European tour. So guess we get to hear what he has to say. Maybe he has some words for Paul Heyman too. Like,
Who
and
knows?
maybe somehow we weasel our way into CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns in a triple threat. Obviously, there's no title involved, so this is just a good old fashioned brawl. So maybe we'll see that. So the Street Profits have been on this whole new. Basically, we've been overlooked and we've been pushed to the side just because there has been dominating tag team storylines, for the better part of the last 3 or 4 years. So really a lot of tag teams have taken a back seat. So Street Profits defeat DIY and just a good straight up tag team match. So like clearly it's sometimes we can have these clean matches that are just good matches.
Oh, I loved it. I watched the whole match and I thought it was great. They both teams put on a great show. Great
Yeah.
match.
See, WWE, you can do it.
You can do it.
So WrestleMania again, we're still sitting on the same matches with just the championships at this juncture. We still obviously, like I said, we still have only 3 out of 5 people for the Hall of Fame, so there's still plenty of time to develop those. Couple WrestleMania as of CBSSports.com, a couple predictions. Like I said earlier about the Roman CM Punk and Seth Rollins match. Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, which that seems viable. Damien and Drew, that seems viable. Solo versus Jacob, but we haven't really had any downfall in that group yet, so we don't know. In regards to that. Now Naomi versus Jade Cargill, yes, I do see that.
Well, I definitely see that.
So this brawl is going to end on the main stage. This isn't going to be done at a Raw or SmackDown. So
I'm gonna say Jade's gonna throw her ass off the stage into a car.
sounds about. You know what? That sounds like justice to me. Nothing like some justice pie. So
Karma's a bitch.
Indeed it is. Except for Karma was a big bitch, but like
Hey, I was a fan of her.
Hey,
I was a fan of her when she was in TNA.
Yeah, no, I watched her. She was a freaking literally like similar size to Nia Jax, but like way stronger.
And she knows how to wrestle better than Nia Jax.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, she's been multiple. She was Awesome Kong at one point. She was Karma at once, but yeah. So I mean, there's a lot going on, and I love it because the more going on, the more we got to talk about. So what do you guys have to say? Like, I know I've been talking quite a bit, so like, spread your wings. What like what in WWE right now is kind of catching your eye or your ear?
I want to get through this Bianca, Jade, and Naomi story. I think there's more to it. I think we've got a lot more legs to it. I do like the Street Profits and their win and the new aggressiveness that they have.
Yeah, the new attitude, great.
Yeah, D'Angelo Dawkins' attitude and his promo skills have vastly improved over the past year, and I'm here for it. I think when they both do decide to go their separate ways, I feel much more confident in D'Angelo Dawkins surviving and thriving as a singles competitor if he keeps up the same energy. Now, he doesn't have to go full on heel to have success, but I don't feel as though he would be released if they were to separate, the Street Profits.
And maybe they never do. Like,
yeah,
I don't see it. I don't see it happening.
I mean, it's one of those, like, if you wanted to kayfabe an injury and, like they did with the Viking Raiders, the War Raiders, whatever you want to call them, like, where Ivar, was doing his own thing and we got to see him in a singles capacity, but yet when he comes back, like, like something like that and do a trial and error and see what happens, maybe he isn't that good on his own. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so like, I think maybe something like along those lines to do a trial and error without looking like we're not splitting them up. We're just, he's Angelo Dawkins is hurt, or, and so like it's one of those trial and error things. And I think that'd be the best case scenario to do.
Yeah.
Because honestly, Ivar was great.
Oh yeah,
Like,
You know,
definitely. That
yeah.
dude can,
he's
for a big man, that dude can do a lot of moves.
Yeah,
dude, it's
yeah,
like
I agree, and I do like the idea of kayfabing an injury for to see their viability as single stars. Um, yeah, I like that. I don't think we need to do it anytime soon. I think there's still some legs with them as a tag team,
right.
but both of them getting the opportunity to have singles runs, and if that's what they choose to do, and that's what WWE envisions for them, yeah. But I think don't sleep on Montez Ford as being a singles champion. He just has there's I think for Montez, the opportunity to connect as a singles star has to be organic, but they're gonna have to like really kind of start thinking about trying that out to see what's there, because we know how it went with the Usos. We saw it happen and it was very organic. And I think in order for Montez to get those similar opportunities, it has to happen as well. But I think surprisingly, D'Angelo Dawkins might be like the one that they're sleeping on. Like Montez Ford has the look and the athleticism, but D'Angelo Dawkins just might have that thing that gets him over with the crowd. Just like
Yeah.
with a Sami Zayn, you might not see Sami Zayn as a world champion, but I do. I can imagine it. You might not see D'Angelo Dawkins as a world champion, but I definitely,
Well, and it's
yeah,
and it comes down to what we always talk about is booking, right? Like,
right,
and we have like obviously they're gonna do what they're gonna do, but we're obviously just hypothetically booking. But like, yeah, I mean, I'm really surprised at this juncture, like that we haven't had a Sami Zayn world champion. Now, that's obviously more plausible than R-Truth for champion. I know you are an advocate,
yes,
just, but the thing about R-Truth is that he's done a incredible job. He's been in all 3 different eras, and he's just a fun person. Like,
right,
and yes, it would be great. Obviously, it's highly improbable, but like, R-Truth is great at what he does.
Oh, he definitely
Like,
is.
I mean, and he doesn't look he's aged in 25 years. But like R-Truth is a character breaker. He is the comic relief of WWE. I mean, how many probably 100 times probably help people break character. I mean, and it's hard sometimes because they can't even hold back. They're trying to be serious, and R-Truth's over here, like, like, like when you did with Damian Priest. It's like, I know you didn't mean that. I could see it in your eyes. like,
I like when he did
like,
with Triple H too.
yeah.
like
Oh my
it's
goodness. Yep. But I think along those same lines, we you shouldn't like typecast these incredible athletes and performers. All of them are more they would want to do more given the opportunity. However, they don't want to lose the opportunity that they have by, wanting to do more. So it's like this it's like this weird place of like I can do more given the opportunity, but it seems like the opportunities go to other people. But I can do that, and I would, and I can execute on that just as well as they are. But the people giving out those opportunities may not see that for them, even though they would probably like kill it. Like I believe in a place where both Sami Zayn and R-Truth can be world champion in the same year.
so let's just talk about something quick. So we have John Cena, who obviously is probably going to get his 17th reign. Now, I think we're probably in agreement is that whenever he loses it, it'll be like the last match to like CM Punk probably. Like, so now, like, I feel like once we get out this Cody crybabies section of the the time frame we're in. I feel like as soon as Cody's done, Cody loses it. Cody goes and just becomes a happy-go-lucky Make-A-Wish guy, like and like gets away from being champion. Once we get out of all these stories, we were happy to get out of Roman's story. We're happy to get out of Cody's story because I feel like then once that's done, the championship can be on anybody. And I think because those stories were so invested in finishing the story, ever since Cody came back, oh, I want to finish the story, and then okay, we've had the story now, and then John Cena's going to have his story. So I feel like 2026 is going to be the emergence of more opportunities for a Sami Zayn or hell, an R-Truth or some of these singles thing we've been talking about. So I feel like 2026, I think, is going to be a fun year. Just because we're done telling the stories, right? Now let's make room for a Sami Zayn or a Kevin Owens or Damian Priest or Drew McIntyre. I don't think CM Punk's going to be around as long as he thinks he's going to be. So I don't give CM Punk really till the end of 2026 and he'll just be done. So but then again, as all these guys drop off, then there's going to be way more opportunities for who we have now. So
I like that. However, there's always like the big thing that hangs over all of these performers' heads is like time. We don't know how much more time is left for R-Truth to have something meaningful and to do something meaningful. We don't know how much time Sami Zayn has left, where his body is just like, hey, bro, I really can't do this anymore. Same with a Kevin Owens, same with even a CM Punk. I really do want to see CM Punk get the things he came back to the WWE for. So there's no reason for him to linger on and like wear out what makes CM Punk special. I
Right.
can definitely see CM Punk probably inheriting a role in NXT.
yeah,
I can
Definitely.
see CM Punk, maybe just flat out retiring and just going full time into entertainment, just the same like as a Cody Rhodes.
right.
I think Cody Rhodes has a little more legs than him, more so than a CM Punk. However, these other guys that are kind of like mid card esque, or mid card guys who we idealistically want to see get the recognition by being a world champion. Same with like a Shayna Baszler. Same with a Natalia. It's just there's like a handful of people that you would want to say thank you to by giving them that opportunity, even though that there are other stories that financially make more sense to run
Right.
with as opposed to this. But you don't want it to like you don't want that opportunity of time to run out on you. And that's just that's like an
Well, and
empathetic take.
yeah, and the thing is too is that we still have NXT. They're doing this whole new show, LFG.
Yep.
So Legends Finding Greatness. So like we're on the precipice of a lot of talent moving forward. Because there's a lot of young people in NXT right now. I mean, look how young Tiffany Stratton is. She's got at least 10 years more in her. I mean,
Yeah, she's like 28,
yeah,
more in
and
her
so
20s.
yeah, I mean, and so like I think that, like I said, with new opportunities in 2026, I feel like the ultimate exit for CM Punk is, like I said, if he wins against John Cena towards the end of the year and he gets his main event spot at WrestleMania, I think win, lose, or draw, like he'll have accomplished, right? because that's what he came back for. He came back for, he wanted to main event WrestleMania. He has never done it, and to some degree, kind of his own doing. But like, and so I think like there's a lot of the wrestlers we have now are on the downhill part of it, right? And then you have NXT on the rise. You got TNA that's getting incorporated with WWE now too with NXT. So you got people that are on the rise. And so like I think in 3 to 4 years, it's gonna look a lot different. Like, and 3 to 5 years is not that long. Like, let's be real. Like 3 to 5 years is not that big of a gap. Because I mean, realistically, yes, Sammy's had injuries, kayfabe and real. Kevin Owens the same thing. I mean, legends live on, but they don't live forever in the ring. So,
Nope.
so I think, like I said, 3 to 5 years, it's gonna look a whole mess different, and all the NXT stars that are on the main roster, I'll be like, yep, I remember them. So it's good because they continue to, in NXT they continue to do these breakout tournaments and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of women that were in the breakout tournament, are now on the main roster of NXT. So like NXT's roster is quite deep. Like, you have a lot going on. You have, especially in the women's division, like NXT, honestly, I would legitimately, without hesitation, say it's probably the best group of women on the roster. Like, because realistically, what we have on the main roster and like Raw and SmackDown, I mean, they've all been there for a while, right? Like they're all very comfy and cozy in the stories they do, versus NXT, who is still a proving ground, like it or lump it, it's still a proving ground. And so there is a lot of talent there, and I look forward to every last one of them getting their comeuppance and getting to the main roster and showing what they can do at a high level, because I've been watching them do it for years. So 3 to 5 years is not a long time. So,
Oh.
but I look forward to, being here for it, because the wrestling pool is deep, even across the indies, even. Whether it's TNA or New Japan or any of the, Ring of Honor. I mean, there is a lot of talent to pull from, right? Contracts don't last forever. So,
Nope.
I mean, even Ricky Saints or Ricky Starks, whatever, on NXT, All Ego Ethan Page on NXT. I mean, it's kind of ironic, really, when a lot of the stars, they think the grass is greener, and then it's not, and they come back. So, but we will put a pin in this, and we have Raw and SmackDown NXT on Tuesday. We have a lot of stories to develop this week, and we will see you guys next week to continue to dive into the comings and goings, our thoughts, our pipe dreams, our hopes and dreams in professional wrestling. This is the Lockdown Podcast. Peace.